Welcome to African Voices platform. My name is Chiwe Chihana. I'm delighted to be hosting today an inspiring force of change. She's the founder and CEO of ADIRA, a survivor-led mental health and well-being service that's based in Sheffield, which is dedicated to Black families. ADIRA has become a beacon of hope and healing, tackling the stigma around mental health in Black communities while offering a safe space, support groups, advocacy, and creative outlets for expression. Now, this amazing woman, Ursula, is deeply rooted, her work is deeply rooted in lived experience and community empowerment. And through ADIRA, she has built not just a service, but a movement. So, Ursula, welcome to African Voices platform. With all that and so much more to your name, how are you?
I'm exhausted. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you must be.
I am, and I'm not one of those people that will say, oh, I'm fine. But, people just say that because, no, I'm not. I'm exhausted, just so we're clear.
There's lots you're doing.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get into the work itself. You've been very open about being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at the age of 33, after years of misdiagnosis as well as stigma. How did that moment of diagnosis shape your belief in the need for survivor-led mental health support?
That shaped my entire life at that point. That changed the trajectory, the direction that my life was going in. It changed all my relationships around me because it before that diagnosis, my behavior was impacting those relationships. So having that diagnosis, that day, I'd never heard of borderline personality disorder. So I went home and Googled it. And I remember reading and thinking, that's me. That's me. Yeah. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah. Called my children and said, girls, come and have a look at this. And they were like, Mummy, that's you. That is you. That is how you behave. And for the first time, we had answers as a family to why Mummy behaves a certain way, why I don't see colours in terms of interaction with other human beings. It's, something is either black or white. There are no grey areas for me. There are no colours.
It's just what it is. What it is what you see.
It's literal. That is what borderline personality disorder is. It is literal. Everything is literal. So having that diagnosis, because before, diagnosed with depression, or it was just anxiety, or it was just anything.
So how long had you been trying to get a diagnosis? Like, how long was that?
It wasn't that I was
period?
trying. It was just that my behavior meant that I kept either getting sectioned or I kept having to go into therapy or being forced into therapy. So I was never trying.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I believed what I was told from the womb, that my behavior, because, from a childhood I was cutting and doing things that didn't seem normal. I was told that it was voodoo, it was witchcraft, it was evil eye, it was demonic possession, it was juju, it was black magic, anything other than mental health.
This is a condition. Medical,
or this is a condition, or here it is, this is the diagnosis for it. So getting that completely changed my life.
Yeah, and changing your life means you'd know how to respond to it, or what your triggers were as well sometimes, maybe.
Exactly, because there is no cure. It's not something you can cure. It's something you have to learn to live with.
Right.
So reading about it, and I read up on it, and what the triggers are, and how to become a social chameleon. Because it's difficult.
A social chameleon.
Yes, you have to become a social chameleon.
So you adapt. Is that what that means?
I go into rooms and I read them, and I have to adapt. Otherwise, I get into trouble because we're literal. So a prime example that I use all the time is if I'm going out, which is very, very rare, and an evening out with friends, for example, and one of them rocks up in a new dress, and the dress is a size 10 and she's a size 14. And, we'll be standing, she'll come and go, oh, hi, girls, I just bought this new dress today. And what do you think? And everybody will be like, oh, you look lovely. The dress is gorgeous and it really suits you.
And what's Ursula doing at that moment?
Exactly. But in that moment, my head is doing overtime because I know what the socially acceptable thing to say is. Yeah. And I know what, with borderline personality disorder, the socially acceptable thing doesn't work.
Right.
So what I would normally say is, you don't look good in that dress because it's 3 sizes too small. Well, you must have known that when you bought it. It's screaming, I can't breathe. But everybody will be looking at me in that moment like, And I will genuinely look at you like, what's the problem here?
This is the truth. This is what you have seen. Yeah.
What I've said that is wrong, because in my head you asked me a question.
And I've told the truth.
And I've answered the question.
Truthfully.
So I've had to learn to become a professional liar.
Wow.
Yes. No, so now, you know, because before my kids would be under the table kicking me to let me know, Mummy, before you answer that question,
pause.
Think what is the socially acceptable answer.
And for the record, Ursula praised my jewellery today. So
yes.
I'm getting worried about that.
Yes, but that's another thing with borderline personality disorder. We don't blow smoke. And we don't say things for saying sake. If I like it, I'm going to tell you. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you. I just have to learn, as my children say, to season my words with grace. Right. So instead of saying that thing is ugly, I'd just be like, oh, do you know what? I really don't like that particular piece of jewellery. Yeah. You see the difference?
Yeah, I do. So tell me then, what do you think got you to have borderline? You were explaining to me earlier, but we've lost that footage now. But could you just give us a bit of a background to yourself and how?
Yeah, I mean, I was, you know, my abuse in childhood started very, very early, from the age of 2 to 16. I was sexually abused and raped by various family members, people in the church. You know, it's all out there, public, you know, knowledge. I was 2 when I was born here, and I was 2 when I was sent back to Jamaica to live with my sister's grandparents, because we have different fathers. I came back here when I was 7, but that's where my rape and sexual abuse started. Then I came here. I was brought back to live with my mom. She was just evil personified, and you know, would beat us to the point where my bones would break. You know, and beat you with telephone wire and pot and pan.
Right
and
here in the UK. This
right here in the UK. It's still happening today in 2025. What the hell? You know, but that's how she would beat us. And then there was the verbal violence. You know, every day I was told that I was too black and I was too ugly and I was too thick and I was worthless, just like my dirty father and my useless father this. And it was the violence that was thrown out verbally every day. And as children are not designed to tolerate and cope with that level of abuse, you know, so you almost create a second personality that is designed to cope with that. And that's where the, what do you call it, disassociated episodes come. Right. You know, when I disassociate, I could be sitting here with you right now in a disassociated episode. You wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know it. The only way I would know it is if I leave here and a couple of hours from now, I'm sitting in the interchange and I'm just like, wait, how did I get here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And nothing that happened earlier.
I think I've been with you when something like that has happened before.
Exactly. Yes, and it's usually in times of severe stress that those episodes will happen. And obviously that triggered in childhood. That's where my borderline personality disorder came from. But, you know, the diagnosis was anything other than that. It was just depression. It was just anxiety.
Being sectioned and all that.
Yeah, being sectioned. You're just black. It's your environment. Not having a father in your life. You know, these were the things that were thrown at me during therapy sessions as to why I might have mental health issues. So that diagnosis changed my entire life, brought me to a crossroad where once I recognized what it was, I read up on it. I thought, okay, I can't get rid of it, but I can manage it. Right. It took 5 years to get to that place where I could manage it, the behavior. And so that was when I reached a crossroads in my life. And I said, right, now that I'm at this place where I'm mentally and emotionally and psychologically better and I want to come off medication, I can either go down this road and live my best life, or I can go down this road and become a modern day Harriet Tubman. You know, when she escaped slavery and she didn't just, you know, go and live her best life. She got involved with the Underground Railroad and helped other slaves escape. So I thought, let me go back and find other people like me who have been told all their lives, black people, that their mental health issues is voodoo and evil eye and witchcraft, or it doesn't even exist, they're just mad, and say to them, do you know what, there might actually be something wrong. And a diagnosis is not the worst thing that can happen to you. It might be the best thing
probably,
that could happen to you. So that's what I did.
Okay, so that's about 13 years ago. So I think let me talk about how you described it. So you described feeling mad or possessed in statutory services, and that's so what was the defining moment then when you decided, you know what, I'll turn that pain into founding the vision for ADIRA?
It was after 5 years of me. Once I got the diagnosis, it took me 5 years to learn how to manage my behavior. As I said, become a social chameleon, so that I don't offend people or upset people, because borderline personality is literal when you speak. So after 5 years, when I found that, okay, I know how to manage my behavior now, that was when I went back to my doctor and I said, right, do you know what, I want to come off my medication, because I was on antidepressants. I feel much better within myself now. I feel like I can manage without medication. And that was when I said, okay, what do you now want to do with this? Because the thing with trauma is you can't get rid of it, you know, as much as you want to. So you can either let it destroy you, or you can do what I did, which was to recycle it and turn it into something beautiful. And I recycled my trauma and turned it into ADIRA.
Right. Yeah, so you were explaining about borderline, and it's interesting because I didn't realize that it's literally a coping strategy where you create a different persona. And so you were talking about somebody who you met that never really gets angry.
No, never gets angry because of the beatings that he had in his childhood. And he felt like the anger was completely beaten out of him. And so what he says is he praises his father for those beatings, which, you know, I don't understand, because I just see the damage that it's done. But it's trauma that's made him believe that, oh, but it's made me the man that I am. You know, so black people don't like to, a lot of black people don't like to admit that there is trauma. They don't like to admit that there's a problem. They don't like to admit that the anger that they have might be coming from a place of trauma. Oh no, this is just who I am, and take it or leave it. If you don't like it, so what? Which is why ADIRA is survivor-led. You know, my entire board has been through trauma of some kind or another. You know, our volunteers have all gone through some kind of trauma, because we don't have any paid staff. You know, have all been through some kind of trauma. And so it's important to have survivors at the helm, whether they're volunteers or whether they're one of the directors, because the people who are coming in aren't always aware that they've survived something, and that is what has brought them to ADIRA's door. And it's like peeling and onion, you know, to get them to realize that, oh my God,
How many service users do you have currently in your books?
Oh,
because you have had a lot of people come through ADIRA.
Yes, currently in our books, I would say we have close to 1,000, because we've got just over 500 alone on a WhatsApp group. That was specifically created for African Caribbeans, mainly for the ones who've come here on student visa or working visa, to give them a place to land when they come here. You know, navigating a new city for anybody is really difficult. And you know, the first things that black people look for when they go to a new city is the black hair shops, the black food shops, the black mosque, the black church. If you don't know where those things are, you don't know how to get a job, you don't know how to get a driver's license, provisional, you know, all these things. So we have close to 1,000 service users on our books, which is why I work 70 hours a week, unpaid.
Did you say, that's what I was coming to. Did you say everyone at ADIRA is not paid?
Yeah, everyone at ADIRA is not paid.
I didn't realize that.
I think because I work so hard, people assume that I am paid to run ADIRA, but I'm not. No, I don't get paid to do this, but that's the love I have for what I do.
You do,
do you know what I mean? Because being busy works for my mental health, but being busy doing something you love, now that takes it to another level.
Yeah, tell me then. Let's talk about somebody who comes to ADIRA for peer support. So, walk me through that process. How does it work? And if somebody's interested in that's watching in coming to get help, how does that process work?
Well,
how
if
does
they're
it
interested, they better go somewhere else.
You're full up.
We stopped taking referrals in 2020. When George Floyd died, that triggered a lot of black people who before had never thought about mental health, didn't realize they had mental health, to come and say, look, something's wrong. Something's wrong. That has triggered me to open a door or open a floodgate, or got my mum talking about the past, and you know, this was happening back in the 60s. You know, we had to stop taking referrals because we got overwhelmed with the need. We do take referrals now, but only for specific services. So like the self-care hub, you can come, we'll take referrals for that. We're opening a food pharmacy. in the beginning of June. So we'll take referrals.
What's a
for
food
that.
pharmacy? What does it do?
A food pharmacy is a food bank, but you know, black people don't like that word.
The food bank.
Yeah, because you know it has such negative connotations.
Yeah.
And they don't have any culturally appropriate food. Let's face it. You know, so we said in 2020 we opened a food pharmacy because there were food banks springing up all over the place, and you know, mutual aid became a big thing with everybody supporting each other, lockdown, all that. So we said we need to set up something that black people will come to. So I said, food is medicine. Come over here and take your medicine in these food parcels.
Get some food.
Yes, get culturally appropriate food. You know, so in there we had the basmati rice and the cooking oil and the flour and the pounded yam. You know, in the don't play with us. We had it, and then we had cooked meals. We had our jerk chicken and our curry mutton and with rice and peas. And the saltfish.
And people came. People came.
We fed over 2,000 people.
Wow.
In 2020 through that food pharmacy. So we're setting it up again in beginning of June.
Okay, and this is at the new location.
Yeah, the new location.
Well, it's no longer new. It's almost a year now since
it's been a year since we've moved into there now.
Which is at the Interchange. Do you know, now that you've spoken about the food pharmacy and just some of these things, in a recent episode we had Yejide here, and I was asking Yejide about that initiative you collaborated on.
Yes.
How is that going? The one on the one where the welcoming people package, starter pack.
Welcome to Sheffield.
Welcome to yes, and also that also spoke about food and
yes.
So how is that going actually?
It's not going well because
it's not?
No, because the book was supposed to be picked up by different organizations, predominantly white, because we created a booklet for African Caribbeans who are here on student visa or working visa to help them to navigate the city.
Which is what you were saying earlier.
Yes.
So the WhatsApp group is meant to do some of that work.
Exactly, yes. But, you know, when they come, we would give them this booklet. We would have in there how the trams work, how the buses work, which banks will let you open an account. Because not every bank, when you're a new immigrant to the city, will let you open an account. Rental, housing, because they have to rent private housing. Even refuges is in the booklet. You know, so we did a big launch and we had a lot of interest from predominantly white organizations. But it was disgusting in the sense that they wanted the book for free.
Oh.
Now it cost us two years worth of pain and trauma and stress to get that booklet off the ground, you know.
And it's valuable information that people need access to.
You know, and they wanted it for free. And we said, no, you can't have it for free. You know, you have to pay for it. And so the booklets sit there. In our office.
Why is it that we get so much of that? You know, when black labor takes place, like nobody wants to pay for black labor. Why do we get so much of that? And how have we perpetuated that? That's insane.
We perpetuated it because if we didn't offer our services for free, we wouldn't get, some of us wouldn't have got to where we are now. The good thing is a lot of things has changed over the years. Things like the death of George Floyd. Which forced white people to wake up and see how they were treating us in a really, you know, very public, stark way. And us, we've learned now to say no, not doing that. I'm not doing that for free. Or you want me to do, okay, here's how much I charge for my time. Because I tell white people all the time, you are mining our black gold. That trauma, that pain, that information, I have to dig somewhere deep to give you that, whether it's to sit in an interview for an hour with a researcher or, you know, come and sit in this meeting and have you tell me to write on a sticky note and stick it on the wall about how you can better support black people and what you need to do to change. And then 2 years later, you come back and ask me to do the same thing again. You are mining our black gold. Pay for that.
And also, when you look further down that pipeline, you find that the people who actually mine do get paid for that.
Exactly,
for that,
yes.
Let's go back to, because we could go down so many avenues, you and I. Let's go back to ADIRA. So you also have social cafe hub? Is that what you call
we have a self-care hub.
Going on. Yeah, self-care.
It's a self-care hub, which is basically a one-stop shop. That we've created for the black community, because what we didn't want was for people to come in and, you know, we have shoes and we have clothes and we have the social cafe and we have a computer suite and we have a toy station for, you know, children, and then we have the self-care where you get toiletries, household cleaning products, black skin and hair care products, because what white people use on their skin and hair, we can't use on our skin and hair. So we have to have culturally appropriate products. We even have hair packs. They're what Nigerians call attachments.
Okay.
You know, where you can braid your hair with the hair packs. But we didn't want somebody to come in and say, look, you know, I need the toiletries, but I also need shoes. And I'm saying, well, you have to go over that side of Sheffield to this organisation that, you know, does shoes. Or I need clothes, we'll go over there. We wanted it all in the same space for them. We also have a CAB first point of contact screen where you come in, you tap the screen.
CAB being the Citizens Advice Bureau.
Citizens Advice Bureau. We have that in there as well. And we wanted it to be a safe space, a protected space for black people, where it's not just the room that is safe, because people say, you know, come to my office, it's a safe space. Come to your office, it's not a safe space. It's your face, your tone, your body language that will make me feel that I am safe when I am with you, not your office and how you've decorated it. You know, so when people come in, we want them to feel welcomed, and, you know, you've got all the Black Nation flags on the wall. We've got black posters, we have black music. You might smell some jollof coming because somebody's got some in the microwave. Oh, child, you know. So we've created a powerful space. I have had white people come in there and say, you know, just for meetings, Ursula, do you mind if I just stay here for the next couple of hours? The meeting done. So
let's stay here.
Yeah, and it's
very
no, you can't.
Yeah.
Because this is a black space. So the meeting is finished. Off you go. You know, because that's what we've created there. People come in, they bring their laptops, they sit down, they put something in the microwave, have something to eat, they talk. And the funny thing is, we get more men.
More men come in than women
coming in there.
Do you have a reason? Do you know why? Have you gotten to the bottom of it?
Yes, because when we first set it up, we couldn't get men to come in. Because their argument was, we're not going to find anything in there that's for us. We're not going to see ourselves represented in this space. So we made sure a lot of the posters on the wall are of black men, positive images of black men. We make sure that we have one shelf that has 3 shelves on it. And it is just dedicated to men. So all the hair and skincare products on there are just for men. So that's why they come in there. And I've had conversations with men who've walked in and picked up 2 sanitary packs and said, Ursula, which one of these do I buy for my wife? And I said, okay, let's call her. Because every woman's period is different. But it's the fact that they're having this conversation in a room full of people because they feel comfortable enough to be, because that is what I've created.
So is this, when we're talking about hair products, is this what Tyra's Touch Salon, is that what that is?
Yeah, that is our
And you
salon.
did it in partnership with Yorkshire Housing?
Yes, Yorkshire Housing built, not so much anymore, they built that salon for us, must be about 3 years ago now. For ADIRA, so that we could work in partnership with the Black Hair Care Project, which gives black people with mental health issues or learning difficulties the opportunity to get their hair done for free. Because, you know, whether you're black or white, it doesn't matter what color you are, whether you're Indian, Asian, Muslim, it doesn't matter. As a woman, right, when you're stressed, the first thing to go is the hair, right? You just don't want to do your hair. And you know that impacts your mental health, because the first thing you get up in the morning, look in the mirror and you think, oh my God, you know, it just looks rough. And so we tend not to do our hair, and that impacts our mental health even more. So we said, what if we could offer that for free as a service? Because we all know how expensive it is doing black hair.
It is expensive.
Before you even get in the salon, you have to buy the hair.
So when I started this locks journey, I thought this would be a cheaper way of doing things.
It's
expensive.
It is expensive, and it's time consuming. You know, you're sitting in that chair for 4 to 5 hours. So we thought if we could remove that cost, and, you know, let black people have that opportunity to do that, men and women, to get their hair done for free. That's what the salon was for. So we order the hair packs through the salon, which means that we get them at wholesale prices, which means we can then sell them at half price.
Okay, great. So there's something else about mental health and hair. Are there any links that you've observed between hair care practices? What type of practice and mental health conversations in the setting where you are?
Definitely. I remember my daughter telling me, because she manages the hair salon. I remember her telling me about a woman who came in, and she had this, she had her hair done in a bun, and she had a ponytail on, the clip-on ponytails. And she was so embarrassed by the state of the ponytail that she waited till my daughter's back was turned, and then she took it off and quickly shoved it in her bag. But my daughter caught it in the mirror, the lady doing that. And what my daughter did, because the hair salon is mental health friendly, so it's not about embarrassing somebody and making a point of, oh, why did you do that? You didn't have to do that. you know, it doesn't matter that it's a bit rough. She just did the woman's hair, waited till she'd finished, and then she came out with a bag with 6 ponytails, brand new, that had never been opened, never been used, and just said to the lady quietly, here, this is for you.
Oh.
Just, you know, and the woman started crying. Do you know what I mean? Yes. She started crying because, you know, just little things like that, you know, the impact it can have on somebody's, you know, hair. And just, I remember a social worker who'd referred somebody to get her hair done, said to me for a long time, the woman kept saying to her, because she, you know, was having mental health issues, and the lady kept saying, I need my hair doing, I need my hair doing, I need my hair doing. The social worker said, look, let's talk about your bills. Let's talk about the fact that you're in arrears. Let's talk about you on the verge of eviction. And the black lady kept saying to her, I just need my hair doing. I just need my hair doing. She wouldn't engage with them, and she was about to be evicted. And the lady said, okay, do you know what, fine, let's just pay for you to get your hair done. And the social worker called me after the lady's appointment, and she said, the lady that left the house and the lady that came back to the house is 2 different people. Oh. Not only did I not recognize her physically, but the person who walked through the door came and said to me, I'm now ready to talk to you about my eviction and about because what was the problem wasn't the eviction, it was the hair. Her hair hadn't been done for months, and it was matted and
everything.
Exactly, yes. And so she couldn't even think about, I'm getting evicted or this is going to happen. She needed to get her hair done to remove the blockage of what was preventing her from thinking about, okay, so now the hair was done and she felt better within herself. She felt like, I can see me again. I can now talk to you about, okay, this is how I got into arrears. And then the social worker was able to call the counsel and say, are you aware this woman has mental health issues? The counsel like, oh, we didn't know. If we had known, we wouldn't have, you know, we'd sent in her letters and she wasn't replying. And, you know, we're going to the door and she's not opening because she's stuck in bed. Yeah. Because she's depressed and everything's impacting her.
Like literal paralysis.
Yes,
from all this.
exactly. Do you know what I mean? But just having her hair done and feeling human again, but having it done by somebody who knows how to fix black hair and who wasn't going to say to her, because it's so matted, we're going to have to cut it off. No, took that time, 5-6 hours to
work on it. Let's untangle.
And then while you're in that chair, you know the hair salon and the barbershop is our therapy room.
It is a therapy room.
That's where we pour our trauma. We'll be sitting down getting our hair done, and the woman next to us in the chair is talking about her husband cheating on her. And I'll be like, oh my God, yes. And you know my husband, he does the same. And that man, and then the whole room is like, yes, and my husband as well. Yes, it's our therapy room. But you say to that same group of women, why don't you go and seek therapy or talk to somebody about that? Oh no, I'm good. I'm good because I've just had my therapy session right here in the hairdressers.
Yeah. You do so much. Amongst and it's good stuff that you do, and I know you're exhausted, but girl, you've been in film as well.
Yes.
BAFTAs and all that. Tell me about Weave.
Yes, Weave is a film that we got some funding for from Kelly Chase. Got to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
You know, foundation. They gave us, I think it was something like 30,000 to make a film. And we wanted to make a film based on the black hair and the link between black hair and black mental health, because a lot of people don't know that there is a massive link between black hair and black mental health. Yeah. And they gave us this money. We made the film. It was loosely based on my life story. I really struggled to go on set because, you know, I never had my life on film. And so it was really difficult for me to go on set. So it was by force and by fire that they got me one day for a couple of hours to go on the film set, because the crew just kept saying, we need to see the lady behind this story. Right. And when Weave was made, and then it still is now on the film festival circuit, and it's to date been nominated for 13 awards, including 2.
Because I know of the BAFTA. You received a BAFTA nomination. 2
BAFTA nominations.
2 BAFTA nominations.
Don't play.
You're not playing.
Don't get it twisted. We do. Yeah, 2 BAFTA nominations, but 13 nominations altogether.
Congratulations.
And really you know, I say to my team, look, if we win that BAFTA, I will not be going, because that's not my thing. I'm that person that if I'm not doing something that's work related, I am not in the room mentally. Okay. Because I'm always thinking, you know, what's happening right now and which service user needs me. And, oh, tomorrow I've got that meeting. You know, so for me to go to the BAFTA, it's not. I would find that so boring. And my team, are, you know, the ones who will say to me, listen, if you do go to the BAFTAs though, let us write the speech because you know your mouth, your mouth, Ursula, because of that borderline personality disorder, you will go and curse out every celebrity in that room. So please let us write the speech.
Because Ursula is just going to be Ursula.
Ursula, exactly. No airs and graces. God help them, you know. So I'll just not go. I'll just not go.
How did you? Because it's loosely based on your life story. Did you contribute to the script writing, or you just?
I did contribute to the script writing, but it changed drastically over time. You know, and I had to shut down a lot because it was quite triggering. So I didn't, in the end, have as much input into the script writing as I should have done. But yeah, I contributed to the script writing because it was important for the people watching to understand what the link is between black hair and black mental health. The process of doing a film was really interesting. I didn't realize how hard it was. And how long it takes and what work goes in before you even pick up the camera to start filming. There is months and months of work that goes before that. You know, and that has prepared us now because we were just, we got some funding last year, 130,000 from NIHR to make another film, which we're going to be, you know, filming this year. So it set us up for that process to let me know.
Good.
Okay.
Congratulations. So is it a sequel or is this a totally different film?
Totally different film. Right. Yeah, and I can't let anything out about it because my board would kill me. But it is going to be
tell your
fire.
board I'm their friend.
I know. But I can tell you this, it is going to be fire.
Right. And we're tackling similar issues though?
Yes. Yeah, we're tackling issues around racism this time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Around, but from a very, very, very different, never been done before perspective. Yeah.
Great. I can't wait to see that. Please keep us in the loop.
Yes.
Also, I just have to say that some of the technical team that are with us today filming this are in the film industry, so we might have a good conversation after this.
Yes, of course.
And then a bit more on storytelling. How do you navigate ethical storytelling and ensuring survivors' agency when portraying trauma? How did that work?
In terms of the storytelling, I remember being at an event once where I was asked to speak and tell my story. And when I finished, I think it was a break, like a 10-minute break. And this Muslim lady came up to me and she was wearing a hijab. And she said, tears running down her face. And she said, do you know what? I was raped as a child by my father. And she said, I've never told anybody that. And she said, I never will be able to speak about it because in my community, you know, when things like this happen, and it does happen, not obviously to everybody, but, you know, it does happen. You can't talk about it. You're taught not to talk about it, or, you know, you bring shame on the family, or you're accused of being a liar. Or one of the things that she mentioned was that if you talk about it and it gets out in the community, because she was the eldest sister, nobody would want to marry her younger sister because they'd say, you know, that family is not a good family because they're saying that, it's tainted. So because of that, she's had to suppress that story. Wow. So she said to me, please keep telling your story. I've never forgotten this because she said, every time you tell your story, you tell my story. And I can't ever tell my story, so please keep telling your story. You know, so I feel like I carry a lot of people's stories. You know, but when people do come to me and we give them that opportunity to share their story with us, but also we say to them, if you're ever ready, if you want to talk about that publicly, if you want to share that out there, when you're ready, we will support you to do that. Whatever that looks like, whether that's attending that event with you, holding your hand while you go up on the stage to speak, standing with you on that stage while you know, share that story. We will do that with you and then hold you for the days, weeks, months, years, if necessary, after. Because sometimes people aren't triggered until, you know, sometime after. I remember asking one of my young people to give a talk on something. I remember saying to me, you sure you're okay to do this? And he said, yeah, but I was aware that he'd never spoken about his childhood ever. Publicly or otherwise. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm good, Mum, I'm good. And he came and he spoke. 6 a.m. the next morning, I got a call from him. And he said, Mama, I need therapy. Oh. I need therapy, can you help me? Because he'd never spoken, and he thought he'd be fine, absolutely fine. And he said, I only realized after speaking that I've not slept all night. Because I opened a can of worms to me, things I didn't even remember
all came back.
Yes, all came back.
You looked at yourself.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And this is 5 years on, and we're still supporting him.
Good.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a lot.
I'm hearing that, and I'm sensing that.
And also, going back to that, I'm very protective of our village's story.
Yeah.
You know, because I do get researchers, I get people wanting to come to me and say, oh, Ursula, and we're looking for 3 black people to come and speak about this, whether it's on the news or, you know, a research project we're doing. And the first thing I say to them, okay, what are you paying? And it better not be love to shop vouchers.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
I'm a grown-ass adult and you're trying to pay me in love to shop vouchers. Go away and come back with an offer that doesn't demean the both of us. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So first of all, what are you paying? Because whatever you're asking them to do in terms of the mental and emotional trauma of them doing that, I've got them. So you don't need to worry about that. But make sure you're paying them for their time. And also make sure that you're sensitive. With them, you know, you're holding them in that space. If they start crying, don't continue the interview like you don't see them crying. Stop and say, are you okay? And, you know, don't think, oh, this is good, this is what we need. We need these tears on screen. Do you know what I mean? I've seen that happen and I've had to step in and say, listen, fix up.
Yeah. Sounds really good. Sounds like, you're doing all you possibly can, I think, to protect. Now, listen. We started to talk about your relocation to the interchange. You just decided, you know what, I'm going to go bang in the heart of the city.
I didn't decide. Do you know what? I always say to black people, especially when people ask me, you know, how do you get to white people to pay for your time? And I said, let me tell you something. Not everything is about money. Sometimes what I do is when, you know, they ask me to do something, I won't take payment. I'll say to them, owe me a favor. And it might be 5 months, it might be 5 weeks, it might be 5 years, but one day I'm going to come calling on that favor. And when I do, you better not stutter and act like you don't know what I'm talking about.
So were you owed a favor in this case?
Yes, I was. Okay, I did some work for Simca a few years back.
Simca and I being the South Yorkshire Mayoral Combined Authority. So now we're talking about you moving to the interchange and just giving context for the audience. I forgot to do that.
Yes. That's how I ended up moving into the interchange, because we were originally in SIAC, which was just a one room, maybe the size of this room. And we outgrew that space, and I called Simca and I said, you remember, I think it was 4 years, 4 years ago, I did that work for you and you owed me about $2,000 and you know, I didn't take the money and I need a favor and you owe me one. And they were like, yeah, God, we forgot. we were surprised you remembered. And they were like, what do you need? And I said, actually, I need a bigger space. And they said, oh, do you know what? The bus people are moving out of their offices. You know, would you want to come and have a look at the space? And I said, yeah. And we went and had a look at it. And I remember Michelle, the lady who showed us around, she was a white lady. And when she finished the tour, I said to her, look, this must be at least $2,000 a month. Rent, you know, we can't afford that. And she said, actually, it's 3. And I said, why would you waste my time, woman, showing me something that you know I can't afford? And I'll never forget her words. She said, before you came, before I even met you, your reputation came. I'd heard of you and the work you do. And she said, we want you in this space. We would love to have you in this space. We've never had a black business, a black organization, a black anything in the interchange. So we'd love to have you here. And that's how come we ended up in the interchange. But the racism in that place is real.
What's happening?
It's real. From the day we moved in, I'll never forget, there is a lift to the back entrance of the interchange that only the staff are allowed to use. And what the mistake that the managers at the interchange had made was they didn't make everybody aware that we were moving in, that there was a new, you know, people coming into the building. But worse still, they didn't make them know that it was black people. They should have done that. Because when we got in the lift to go downstairs, there was 4 of us in the lift. And the lift is in a basement.
All right,
Yeah, dark basement. So when the door opened, there were 3 white people standing outside the door. And let me tell you, when the lift door opened, we were in there kikikiing in the lift and laughing and joking, busting joke, right? And the door opened, and the 3 white people literally physically jumped.
No.
And one white woman just looked so frightened, and she just froze. She just And we looked at each other, and we just thought, are you okay? Because they just were so scared. But I think it was one, they know that area is not accessible to the public. So, but then 2, we were black. What are black people doing down in an area
in the basement?
In the basement that is not accessible to the public.
Right.
Oh, and they just didn't recover. They just.
What did they say?
They didn't say a word. We walked out the lift. They walked into the lift. But you know when you're walking past somebody and you're turning your body, you're keeping your eye on them,
waiting to see if they'll pounce
if they're
going to
do something. And I was like, geez, this is because we are black. Yeah. But, you know, it was very clear from day one that we weren't wanted there.
Okay.
The racism we experienced was real. People would walk past us, not say hello to us. We would say hello to them. They wouldn't say hello to us. Because our service users weren't used to where we were, they would come upstairs and knock on the wrong door. Yeah. And they would be shouted at by, you know, the white people. And I'm thinking, if that was a white person that knocked your door, would you be shouting at them?
Say, let's ask,
exactly.
Yeah.
I've had people who didn't know me. Some of the people that worked there didn't know me, and I'd go in through the back way, and I would come out the lift, and they'd look at me and go, "Oh, excuse me, are you the cleaner? Are you supposed to be down here?"
You've been asked that. Like, are you supposed to be down here? That's a question you've been asked.
But also, are you the cleaner?
Are you the cleaner?
There's no assumption that I might be a black CEO. No. Are you the cleaner?
Are you the cleaner?
Is that why you are down here?
Yeah.
And I've had to just own them, and I own them on the spot.
What's your typical response to that?
That's your first go-to.
What's an Ursula response to that?
That's your first go-to. That's your assumption, that because I'm black, I must be the cleaner. Oh, no. Start stammering at this point. Because they've really, you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I'm actually the CEO, and my office is at the top of this building. Do you know what I mean? But it's the fact that you assume. So that's your go-to. Because I'm black and I'm in the basement, I must be the cleaner. The cleaner,
because what else would I be
doing
here? What else
would I be doing here?
Up this lift?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I've had issues where my service users have come and said, oh, somebody has shouted at me for going through the wrong door. I've gone to those people and I've said to them, listen, we're a survivor-led black mental health organization. You don't know what that person that you shouted at was coming into the building for, in terms of coming to see me. That you might have been the straw that broke their back, right? And in that moment, they've just thought, you know what, that is it. And they decide to go to the top of Simca and jump off that building because you've just shouted at them and that was the final straw. I said to them, I would make sure their corpse lands on Simca. That you would use Simca to break their fall, right? Because I would not accept lessons have been learnt. The lesson would be you going down to the job centre with your P45 because I would have your job.
You have caused it,
I've had to have the managers in the office every week.
It sounds like you're still having this. Like
yes.
You've been there for a while. Strategically, it's a good location. And oh my goodness, I think we are going to be running out of time shortly. Let's talk about the impact then on service users. How has that happened? How are you seeing it? How your work? Like how has that evolved?
The impact of my work on service users.
On service users. I think we're going to need to close. That's why.
I'll just give you one example then. One time I was on TV, and when I got off, a lady messaged me on Facebook Messenger. And she said to me, I just need to let you know this. I was just about to commit suicide. I was sat at home with a knife to my throat to cut my throat because I was that depressed. She's a survivor of rape and sexual abuse. And she said, as I did that, as I put the knife to my throat, your face popped up on the screen. I thought, I've never seen a black woman. And she said, you were talking about, being raped and survived. And she said, as I was listening, the knife was just going down.
Right.
And she said, I thought to myself, wait, if this lady has been through all that and can survive and thrive,
I can probably survive.
So can I.
Yeah.
That's just one of 10,000 stories that I could tell you about the impact that ADIRA has. And we're still supporting her till this day, and she's thriving.
Great stuff. Ursula, you and ADIRA do brilliant work, and I'm sure lots of people would want to support and champion what you do. What sort of support would you like to ask of people right now?
Give money.
Give money. And on your website, it's adira.org. Is it? adira.org. Well, thank you so much, Ursula. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on African Voices platform. We've been speaking to the CEO of ADIRA, Ursula Myrie, and visit their website to support in any way that you can. My name is Chihana.